New at 10, Gilbert's Old St. Nick in quarantine tonight. 2 town staff members testing positive for COVID after dressing up as Mr. and Mrs. Claus and then attending community events. ABC 15's Zach Crenshaw has more.
As you can tell, Gilbert is in the holiday spirit. Last weekend, they threw a Polar Express pajama party, and days later, had to tell the employees and 47 people that attended, Mr. and Mrs. Claus caught COVID.
When I was a young boy,
It's Christmas in Gilbert.
by the age of 5.
Colorful lights, busy restaurants, even the iconic water tower is festive. But 2 part-time Parks and Rec employees aren't out celebrating.
Were Santa and Mrs. Claus super spreaders? We don't know. It's unlikely.
See, the town of Gilbert has been throwing Christmas-themed events, like a Polar Express pajama party and holiday cookies and crafts. That's where the employees, Mr. and Mrs. Claus, were Friday and Saturday. Monday, they tested positive.
They did some good stuff. It wasn't all bad.
These are photos from another Gilbert event this month. While the CDC recommends limiting your contact with strangers, the town says they had mitigation measures, like social distancing, limited capacity, and masks. But a spokesperson told us, quote, there were a few families who chose not to follow our recommendations.
It sounds like in this case, there were people that weren't putting on their masks and they were asked to do it and they still didn't, but they weren't removed from the facility.
It was a ticketed event, so families chose to pay $25.
It also comes down to the consent of the governed.
Many we talked to believed the tradition of seeing Santa was a risk families should be allowed to decide for themselves.
How many years do the kids have that they really, appreciate a visit with, Mr. and Mrs. Claus? You got to leave it up to the individuals.
We could keep our traditions going.
If you want to go out to these events, go ahead.
Others thought the Polar Express party should have been derailed due to surging COVID cases.
I really think right now we should still be social distancing.
At the community center, a sign lets people know this weekend's events are canceled.
When you're a little kid, it's a big deal to see Santa.
It sure is. But if 2020 has taught us anything, it's that there's always next year. And who knows, Santa's quarantine should end just in time for Christmas. Zach Crenshaw, ABC 15, Arizona.